I think Africans, black people all over the world should refocus their energies and their mindsets. And you do this by learning a new language. And I think that language should be an African language, whatever African language that may be. Because the world we see now is based on pretty much Western culture, English language, Western Roman culture, white culture. We see it being disseminated through media, social media particularly, and TV media, broadcast media in the broad sense. And a lot of people don't realize that our ideologies and the way we think are directly linked to the language we speak. And speaking for America and Brazil and Colombia, the black people there are, for the most part, monolingual. Learning an African language in an African perspective is important for us as a people because it's directly linked to our liberation. When you realize that language itself is an ideology, then you realize that we're being programmed. It's a simulation by the fact that the powers that be understand language and the power of it, and they realize that they can control us through a language that's not our own. Now, black people have innovated and made our own of the language that we're being taught, but when you realize the fact that history is not on our side, the Bible, the literature, all that's being taught to us didn't come from us. And when you realize that, you just have to take a step back and think about how we think on a daily basis in a oppressor's language, in an oppressor's tongue. Ignore that. And I think we should refocus our attention to African languages. I myself personally would look at Ethiopic languages, refocus our philosophies, our beliefs, ideologies to an Afrocentric way of thinking. Liberation begins with the mindset. And a lot of our mindsets don't come from us, people that look like me. They come from the Eurocentric point of view. Whether it be intentional or not, whether we know it or not. So it's important for us to take the time, step back and think about how we're going to think about liberation. Liberation on all levels. Language, physically, fiscally. All these things matter. When they took us off those damn slave ships in the Atlantic, first thing they did, those slaves, those shackled slaves who didn't know shit about English people or white people, they read the Bible to us in their language, knowing that we don't know what the fuck that meant. And they crushed that shit into our heads. Because they knew the power of language. They knew the power of language and ideology and the way you think. And they knew they can control it. And by extension, control us. All I'm saying is we need to rethink our way of thinking, man. That's all I'm saying.